Some of the strongest structures ever built were never designed to last forever, and yet, centuries later, they endure. Across Europe, medieval barns still stand tall after 6 or 7 centuries. Church roofs constructed before the Black Death remain solid. Viking ships pulled from the seabed reveal timbers that resisted rot far longer than any modern treated lumber. This wasn't luck. It was the result of deliberate, hard-earned knowledge passed down through generations of craftsmen who understood one principle above all. If the wood failed, everything failed with it. Before we dive into the specifics, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who values real survival knowledge, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Warfront Survival. This channel exists to preserve techniques that truly worked under the harshest conditions, knowledge that can still guide us today. In medieval Europe, wood wasn't just a building material, it was the backbone of life. Homes, ships, bridges, carts, tools, defensive structures, and even food storage depended on timber. Rot was not a minor problem. One decayed beam could collapse a roof, sink a ship, or ruin a harvest. Synthetic preservatives did not exist, so craftsmen had to rely on observation, experimentation, and a detailed understanding of wood, moisture, fungi, and time. Their methods were precise, tested in the field rather than laboratories, and the results speak for themselves centuries later. The cornerstone of medieval wood preservation was pine tar. Unlike modern industrial products, this pine tar was produced by slowly burning pine roots, stumps and knots in low-oxygen earth pits over several days or even weeks. The process required careful attention. What emerged was a thick black resin, rich in natural phenols and acids, substances inherently toxic to fungi, bacteria and insects. Vikings used it to waterproof ships, farmers applied it to beams and wagons, and shipyards depended on it entirely. Pine tar's effectiveness came from penetration. When gently heated, it could soak deep into the wood's pores, hardening to create a water-repellent barrier that stopped rot before it could begin. Temperature control was critical. Too hot, and the wood scorched or the resin became brittle. Too cool, and it simply sat on the surface, ineffective. Medieval craftsmen learned this through trial, observation, and generations of practical experience. Pine tar alone, however, was rarely the final solution. To enhance penetration and flexibility, craftsmen mixed it with boiled linseed oil. Linseed oil, derived from flax, was widely available and already used for tool finishes. The oil carried the preservative deep into the grain while still allowing the wood to expand and contract with temperature and humidity changes, reducing cracking, one of the primary failure points in untreated timber. The mixture was applied warm, often in direct sunlight, allowing it to penetrate fully. Smaller beams were brushed repeatedly over several days, while critical structural timbers were immersed entirely in heated troughs. Saturation mattered more than appearance. Medieval builders knew that surface treatments failed quickly, but deep treatment endured. The proof lies in the beams that survive intact today, preserved through their full cross-section, not just on the surface. Another ingredient occasionally added was finely sifted hardwood ash. This wasn't superstition. Ash is alkaline, creating an environment hostile to wood-rotting fungi. It also thickened the mixture, sealed minor cracks, and added mineral content that discouraged decay. The result was a dull, matte finish that archaeologists still identify on surviving timbers. This system worked because it respected the nature of wood. It allowed timber to breathe while keeping damaging moisture out. Unlike modern coatings that can trap water or peel with time, medieval treatments aged with the wood. When maintenance was needed, applying another warm coat restored protection without sanding or stripping the old layer. This approach wasn't limited to grand buildings. Fence posts, tool handles, boat ribs, and even underground timbers benefited from these methods. For posts in direct soil contact, the section near the ground was treated repeatedly, recognizing that decay would strike there first. This targeted strategy ensured that failures happened slowly, not catastrophically. It was precision, born of necessity. The relevance of these techniques extends to today. Pine tar is still available, linseed oil is easy to obtain, and hardwood ash can be produced from any fire. The method can be replicated on a small scale, making it invaluable for homesteaders, survivalists, and anyone working with outdoor wood. What medieval craftsmen understood, and what modern builders often overlook, is that effective preservation is about working with materials, not against them. Their solutions were tested under storms, winters, and generations of daily use. The fact that so many beams, posts, and ships survive centuries later is undeniable proof. If you found this guide useful, take a moment to share it. Send it to someone who values history, survival, or practical woodworking knowledge. Subscribe to Warfront Survival to explore more deep dives into the methods that kept people alive and structures standing long before modern shortcuts existed. The past solved problems we are still struggling with today, and the lessons of medieval wood preservation are among the most enduring. Protecting wood isn't just about construction. It's about survival, legacy, and understanding the disciplined genius of those who came before us.